Imagine waking up tomorrow, and every form of money, physical or digital, has vanished. No cash, no credit cards, no crypto, no Venmo, no PayPal, no salary, no savings. Just gone. No more prices, no more profits, no more paychecks. You walk into a store, if it's even open, and see people standing, confused. There's food on the shelves, clothes, medicine, but no one knows how to buy them. What happens next? Does society collapse overnight, or does something new begin? Today on 5 Minutes of Culture, we explore a hauntingly beautiful question. What if the world had no money? To answer it, we must return to a time when money didn't exist. Because for most of our species' story, it didn't. Long before credit cards or coins, humanity thrived without currency. Early humans, tens of thousands of years ago, lived in small, mobile bands. There were no banks, no markets, no prices. But that didn't mean there was no economy. They hunted, they gathered, they made tools, they shared. In these tightly woven groups, cooperation wasn't optional. It was survival. If you had more than you needed, you gave it away. Because tomorrow, you might be the one in need. In some indigenous cultures, generosity was a source of power. The more you gave, the higher your status. Wealth wasn't measured by what you hoarded, but what you offered. This wasn't naive utopia. It was social logic. In a world where resources were uncertain, the tribe thrived through trust. Later came barter systems. You have salt, I have meat. Let's trade. But bartering has its limits. What if I want your goat, but you don't want my apples? That's called the double coincidence of wants, and it's a real economic problem. So how did we solve it? Enter money. But not the kind you're thinking of. Long before coins or bills, ancient societies used what we now call commodity money, items that had value in themselves: salt, furs, grain, cattle. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 3000 BCE, people measured wealth in livestock and barley. The word salary actually comes from sal, Latin for salt, because Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in it. In West Africa, cowrie shells were used for centuries as currency. In the Pacific island of Yap, massive limestone discs, some weighing several tons, served as money. You didn't even need to move them. Everyone in the village remembered who owned which stone. So why do these odd systems work? Because money, at its core, is an agreement. A shared illusion. If everyone believes it has value, it does. Then around 600 BCE, the Lydians of Anatolia minted the first metal coins made of electrum, a natural mix of gold and silver. These were uniform, durable, and stamped with royal seals. Suddenly, trade accelerated. Cities grew. Empires expanded. Money was fuel for civilization, but also for inequality, war, and greed. And that's where our story really begins. Quick note: only 1% of our viewers subscribe. If you're enjoying this journey, hit that button. It helps us keep making content like this. Back to the story. What happens when people try to live without money today? Meet Mark Boyle, an Irish environmentalist who in 2008 gave up all forms of currency. No wallet, no credit, no coins, nothing. He lived in a caravan, grew his own food, cooked on a homemade rocket stove, and washed with rainwater. He bartered, scavenged, and gave freely. His year without money became a book and a movement. Boyle described the experience as liberating. Without money, he found more connection, more meaning, more time. But he also faced harsh winters, long days, and society's skepticism. Across the world, similar micro-societies exist. Take Christiania, a commune in the heart of Copenhagen. It runs on its own rules, where property is communal and barter often replaces cash. Or the Zapatistas in Chiapas, Mexico, who created autonomous zones with alternative economies, or gift economies among the Maori, or indigenous potlatch ceremonies, where entire villages compete to give away the most. Even Burning Man, yes, the desert festival, runs on principles of decommodification and gifting. You don't buy, you bring, you give. These are not perfect models, but they show one thing: human beings can imagine and even live without money. So what happens if we all had to? Let's pause. Before we dream of a world without money, we need to understand the world with it. Money has given us art, innovation, global trade, but also colonization, slavery, environmental destruction. And remember, money is fiction. A $100 bill isn't inherently valuable. It's paper, protected by a myth. Its power lies in your belief that it can be exchanged for something real. When that belief breaks, systems collapse. In Weimar Germany, hyperinflation made currency worthless. People carried wheelbarrows of cash to buy bread, or burned bills for heat. In Zimbabwe during the 2000s, prices doubled every 24 hours. At one point, they issued a $100 trillion bill. Digital money is no safer. In 2008, a global financial crisis wiped out trillions in value because of invisible numbers on screens. And today, trillions in cryptocurrencies exist, only if we all agree they do. We live in a world ruled by abstract numbers, while billions still lack access to food, water, shelter. So maybe, just maybe, removing money might not destroy civilization. Maybe it would save it. Let's run the scenario. Imagine, midnight, a global event. Every record of currency, cash, card, crypto, deleted. No more prices, no more income, no debt, no billionaires. Day 1. Panic. Markets crash, supermarkets close, people hoard. Some resort to violence, some organize, some wait. Week 1. Communities begin to barter. Skills, tools, food. Electricians trade with farmers, medics with builders. Month 1. Microcurrencies form, based on time, labor, and trust. A 1-hour haircut equals a 1-hour plumbing job. And it's not fantasy. Time banks already exist in the US, UK, and Japan. In Japan, elderly care is partially funded through time credits. Help a senior today, earn care in your future. Meanwhile, cooperatives, local barter markets, and mutual aid networks are gaining traction worldwide. So maybe it wouldn't be chaos. Maybe it would be chaotic harmony. Difficult, messy, but deeply human. The future without money? Futurists dream of a post-scarcity world. AI runs farms, robots build homes, energy is abundant, food is synthesized. Want something? Print it. In such a world, money becomes obsolete, not because we abolish it, but because we no longer need it. Science fiction paints it well. In Star Trek, humans work for purpose, not profit. There's no currency, only curiosity, a society of abundance, not acquisition. But this vision demands something deeper than technology. It demands a cultural reboot. We'd need to redefine what gives life meaning. If we no longer chase money, what drives us? If there's no wealth, what defines success? And without poverty, what do we fight over? Utopia? Maybe. But fragile. Because the real obstacle isn't money, it's human nature. Or is it? So, what if the world had no money? We'd lose banks, wallets, salaries, and sales. But maybe gain something older, something deeper. We'd rediscover exchange as a human act, not a financial one. We'd value generosity, time, skill, community, cooperation. And maybe for the first time in history, we'd stop asking, how much is it worth? And start asking, does it matter? Because money was never the point. It was only the tool. And if we can imagine a world without it, maybe we're already halfway there. Because every revolution begins not with an answer, but with a question: what if? If this episode made you think differently, like, share, and subscribe to 5 Minutes of Culture, where imagination meets history, and the future is always one question away.